Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for another review video. Before we get started, as people know, because you told me, I had some mic issues. I changed everything besides the mic because the mic is the most expensive thing to replace. So let me know in the comments if you still hear some issues with the sound. Then, well, I know it's the mic, so I need to replace the mic. But if not, let me know in the comments. That will help me out a lot. So yeah, now we'll go back into the review show as usual. We're gonna do it a bit different. We're gonna do some, as you can see, post-match comments, just general talk, and also the player ratings. So we're gonna do this in this video and not, a two-parter. So yeah, the game, Cagliari. I was out for a week, so I haven't done my usual in the week talk about general things. But after that Inter result, I expected the team to come out a bit more. How do you want to say it? Deflated, a bit flat. I know people a lot like Justin told me in the match reaction that he expected the team to come out and be more aggressive or have a point to prove. But that loss against Inter last Sunday, we played a very good game. We should have won that game. We didn't win that game. And if somebody still had any hopes for the title, it was that game. Milan dropped points. You won against Inter. It was that game. And coming out of that game, it felt like it's kind of done this season. It's not done. You still need to fight for top four because nobody's giving you top four. You still need to fight it. You still need to fight for it. But the general feeling was that it's done. What's there to play for? And that's what I expected from the team. As you know, I was out for a week, but I texted Julian my result for a preview, and I previewed. My prediction was 1-1, and I was very close. And if it ended 1-1, I think nobody could have had any problems with it because we created no clear chance. We created nothing. Let's be honest. For 90 minutes, maybe in the first half, I thought we were a bit more dangerous. But in the second half, I remember Vlahovic needing to fight for his life to create something out of nowhere. And that's kind of it, So we create very little, close to nothing. So that's why I was a bit skeptical. I was a bit, not sure we were going to roll over Cagliari, who are, by the way, a very bad team. They're a very bad side, so that's the most frustrating part, that we struggle against. I said they're the worst side in the league with Salernitana. I think Genoa and Venezia have more about them, just my opinion. I think they have lesser points for the style they play, the type of football they play. Not Genoa now, but before I forgot the coach took over. So they're a bad team, Cagliari, and you can see it. It was a mistake. Dybala lost that ball. He shouldn't have lost that ball like that. Arthur, I don't know what he was doing. Not closing down Joao Pedro, and that was it. That was Cagliari for the entire game. And it's not that they didn't want to attack us. They just can't. They're a bad team. They had a left back playing in midfield. They had Pavoletti still up top. I forgot about him. I thought he retired, to be honest. I completely forgot about it. Forgot about him. So it was that type of game, and the fact that we created again a nothing is frustrating. It's frustrating. But at the end of the day, we got 3 points. Again, that's what we need. We made a preview video, an interview. We did a match reaction, me and Justin, and we called the video "Sleepwalking." And people said, "Oh, negative." It wasn't negative. It was like it feels like we were sleepwalking, or the players are sleep, and even we as fans are sleepwalking until to the end of the season. It's like, just get it over with. That's the feeling I have watching these games now, and that's the feeling I get from watching the team play. Pick up Dybala again. That's a different situation. But even Arthur at the start of especially in the first half, it was like. It's like, yeah, we need to be out here. Let's see if we can get the job done. Not putting in a lot of effort. That's the vibe you get from watching this team. So there's not a lot of positivity around the club. There was, again, we were on an unbeaten streak, and I kept saying that this can collapse really quickly because we're not playing well. It doesn't really collapse. We lost against Inter. We should have won that game, but we lost, and we won today. In a way, yesterday, in a way, how do you want to call it? Like, it's not a beautiful way. And again, I said it many times. I don't expect anything to change until now, to the end of until the end of the season. From now until the end of the season, it's just picking up the points and get into the top 4. That's it. That's it. And we did that. And we need to move on. Bologna next. You need to win again. Because the last 2 games of the season, Lazio at home, Fiorentina away. At that point, you should have wrapped up top 4. Like, you cannot go into that game and you still need wins. And I know it's only 5 points ahead. You just need to hope they drop Atalanta and Roma, keep dropping points, and you somehow pick up those points, because you cannot enter the last 2 games of the season with the idea of, we cannot drop any points or we are out of it. You can. But that's the situation now. Let's see what they will do. We will go. We will do the player ratings first, and then we will go into Allegri's comments. We will start off with Chesney. I give him a 6, just standard 6, because he had absolutely nothing to do. Like, he couldn't have done anything about that goal, and that's it. He had absolutely nothing to do. I don't even know if he touched the ball in the second half that much, just to kick it out. I don't know. So standard 6, like, he had absolutely nothing to do. That's all you need to know about Cagliari. And yeah, standard 6 for me. Then we move on to Danilo. I also gave him a 6. It wasn't a great game, but like, it was difficult to play a great game at the back, because Cagliari were not even testing us. Like, they were so bad going forward. Like I said, maybe they didn't even try. They tried a bit, but like, there's just no quality in that team at all. So for me, a standard 6, like, nothing special. Like, it's just basic, and that's okay for that type of game. You don't need to be special in that position. But yeah, a 6. And same goes for Chiellini. I also gave him a 6. I said it many times, when he's fit, he's so amazing, but you cannot keep a player in the team just for the sake of, when he's fit, he's amazing. He needs to be fit for 75% of the game, at least. In a team, you need to be there, and he isn't, and I think that's the issue for the club also, like, moving forward. But he had a good game, a solid game. Again, not very difficult against the Cagliari side, but 6. Then we move on to De Ligt. I gave him a 7. And why? Because he scored a goal, an important goal, just before the half, like before the halftime. That was key, because we were not, like, we kind of struggled to break Cagliari down. It was at the end, kind of out of nowhere, great cross from Quadrado finally. And he took that header perfectly, cleanly. Important moment before that half. If Cagliari had any hopes of hoping or like keeping those 3 points at home, I think that was a mental blow for them and a boost for us. Again, we came out, it wasn't amazing. It's not like we were pressing them and it was like, oh my god, the goal is coming anytime soon. It wasn't like that, but like, mentally going into the locker room with 1-1 rather than 1-0, it's a big difference. So for me, a 7, and the same goes for Quadrado. Now, I thought about it. I was thinking about 6.5. You know what it is with Quadrado? He's frustrating to watch, period. He comes up clutch so many times, but he's frustrating to watch. He can have an absolutely amazing game. He can have absolutely stinkers. He can have absolutely amazing and stinker moments in a game and then come up clutch in the same game. It's like, it's a very it's a very frustrating player to watch. You know that's what you get with Cuadrado. You like it or you don't like it. It's that simple. You know, it was very important once again. Now, did he play amazingly for throughout 90 minutes? No, but at this point, I'm kind of used to it. Like that's who he is. And I know people say in the comments, "Oh, you said he's on the decline." I still believe he's on the decline, and that's why I only said that because the talks are that he's gonna get an almost 3-year contract or 2+1. I think that's too much. You know, that's the only issue I have. But he comes up clutch once again, and to be honest, going forward, attacking wise, he's the biggest threat at the moment, and that's not positive. If he's the biggest threat, you know, let's be honest. But he is. He was clutch again. You know, a clutch. He was important again. I would say 6, 7. Maybe it should have been a 6.5, but I went for a 7. Just because of the type of game it was. It was very close. It was very uninspiring. So that's why I went for a 7. But let me know in the comments if it should have been a 6 or a 6.5. I think it should have been a 6.5 rather than a 6 or a 7. But 7 is what I put down when I made the graphics. Then we move on to Zakaria. Basically, I will put like Zakaria a 6. He was the best out of the 3 midfielders. It wasn't spectacular, but it was not that type of game. Like nobody was. But he's better than the other 3, than the other 2. He is. He was. Excuse me. He gives you something different. You know. We didn't see those runs with the ball, but with the ball. We did see runs without the ball, and that's what I like about him. He didn't receive. He wasn't at the end of those balls, but that's fine. You know, it's just about making those runs, and then the ball will fall to your feet, at some moment in time, and with that mean the next game, I think. But I think he can be very important for this team for what he offers. Like he's different, you know. Also, he's very energetic, and usually it's something I would say like, oh, let's say he had a bad game, but I will say, oh, but he was energetic. But that's not with him. Like he's very active. You know, like he's not shying away of actually doing something. Like if you compare that with different players, so I gave him a 6 just because, just in general, it was a flat game from the entire team, but especially from that midfield. Then we move on to Arthur. I give him a 5.5, and maybe that's a bit generous because I thought he wasn't good. Like, I know a lot of people like Arthur, and I think he has his qualities, but he also has his flaws. Now, people will say, oh, Rabiot, I know Rabiot, Bernardeschi, all those players, like, I think that's obvious, you know, that those players have their flaws, you know. I think that's obvious, and we talked about it week in, week out, but maybe we didn't talk enough about Arthur. I don't know what it is. Is he struggling because of his position? He can't play the position? Or is it we expect something different in that position? Because he is, as you know, on the ball, he can keep it. But everything he does with the ball is super, super basic. It is. Like, he slows down play way too much. He keeps everything way too easy, way too safe, way too simple, like whatever you want to call it. And at times it's watching, I don't know what it is. It's like watching something in slow motion. It's watching something with no intensity for 90 minutes. So I give him a 5.5. I don't think do I think he's a good player? Yes. Do I think he's a good player for us? No. I think that's how to put it. You know, again, he's not the only one, but watching him play it's just, it's like watching paint dry, basically. Like, it's slow, it's pointless at times. It's like, I don't know what you're doing, and then position wise, like with that goal, I don't know what he was doing. He saw João Pedro for a very long time, and he still decided to not close it down. You know, these type of things are not helping him. There aren't. So 5.5 for me. Rabiot, same. Rabiot. We praised him after the Inter game because he was amazing that game, but he was anonymous today again. And people say, oh, on a 3, on a 2, is he better than a 2? 100% he is. But again, do I think Allegri needs to do that, playing him in a 2? Yes, 100%. Also agree. So it's not all on him, but like after 3 years, if he doesn't play in a 2, he gives you these type of performances, like anonymous, flat, not bad. Today he wasn't bad, like in terms of giving the ball away consistently or making wrong decision. He was just anonymous, and that's what you also get a lot with Rabiot. And I think that's also an issue. It's becoming an issue, or is an issue basically. So 5.5 for me. He got subbed, rightfully so. Like you could have hooked off Arthur, but like position wise, 5.5. Like it's flat. It's just flat. That's what it is. Then we move on to let me see. It's Bernardeschi. He came on. I gave him a 5.5. Usually I gave subs a 5 standard, but he actually, it wasn't amazing, but like it wasn't bad. It wasn't awful. But just because he was a sub, like, and there was no real impact, 5.5. I think we can move on from him really quickly. Let me see what I have. Next one is Pellegrini. I don't know why he's that high up, because he's a defender, but I gave him a 6. I thought he was, like in the second half, he was anonymous, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it. He didn't really have a lot to do going forward. He wasn't there. In the first half, going forward, he offered something, and that's what you get with Pellegrini. Like he's more active going forward. At the back, he's shaky. Good for him that Cagliari were just poor as a team, as a collective, especially going forward. So it was easy for him in terms of staying higher up that pitch. But the second half, I don't know if it was a decision Allegri made, but like he wasn't that active going forward. But yeah, he played a solid game, just a good game. 6 for me. And then we move on to Dybala. I give him a 6, and that's just basically because he got that assist. But up to that point, that could have been easily a 5.5, easily, because especially in that first half, that goal, the way he got bullied off that ball is kind of unacceptable. Like you cannot do that. Awareness, he was not aware of what was happening around him. Again, Arthur made a mistake at the back, but it starts with him. And after that, he was shocked. Like he was shook for like 15 minutes. He was just giving the ball away for fun, like losing it, misplacing balls. Everything was going the wrong way for him. Now, considering my match reaction, do I blame him if he feels checked out? Like if he's struggling? Not really, because he wants to stay. Like Pogba, for example, he's a free agent, but he wants to leave. So it's like, yeah, it's my fault. I want to leave, but I'm still going to play. But with Dybala, he wants to stay, and the club said, no, you're not part of the project. So do I understand if he feels a bit weird, a bit, I want to call it betrayed, or like betrayal. I don't know why you want to call it, but yeah, I do understand if he feels a bit weird, out of place in that team. So would I understand if he's a bit checked out? Yeah, because maybe, I'm not gonna lie, I will be checked out, maybe, but seeing his celebration after that goal, I don't think he is. So it's surely in his head. It should be like at the end of the day, he's a human being. Like he has emotions. He wanted to stay. The club said no, so it's playing into his head. Like it's affecting him, and he didn't play a good game. He was batting towards the end. The last 20 minutes, he got that assist, so 6. But just in general, especially that first half, that was horrendous. That was brutal to watch. But yeah, 6 for me. Then we move on to Vlahovic. I give him a 6.5, and maybe that should have been a 6. He scored that goal, but he is living off scraps. Like, let's be honest. So the first thing is the team aspect. Like him getting the ball to him is a chore. Like it's not working very well. Like he needs to bully defenders off him every time he receives the ball. he needs to create things out of absolutely nothing. As you can remember, that one shot at the near post, like he created that out of absolutely nothing. So that's a big problem. That's a squad problem, like a team problem, Allegri's problem to get him the ball quickly. And that's something he cannot improve. That needs to be improved as a team, and it starts with Allegri. It's as simple as it goes. The second part is him on the ball. Like sometimes he gives the ball away too easy, misplacing passes, awareness not a bit off. But then again, maybe that's linked to he's being frustrated because the ball is not coming his way. There are no opportunities. He's living off scraps, and then at some point you're gonna make stupid decisions, or you're not gonna think it through very clearly. I believe it's both of that. But the main issue is the way we play. Like the balls we get into the channels are basically non-existent. Up to that Dybala pass, there was nothing for him. So I gave him a 6.5. Let me know in the comments if you say 6. I'm not gonna argue that with you at all. But 6.5, and then we move on to the last sub, and that's Moise Kean. I give him a 5. I don't know. It's a standard 5 for subs. And only 9 minutes. Usually we don't do that. But this 5 could have easily been a 4. Like every time he comes on, he is. I don't want to put it badly. He's worthless. Like for the team, he offers absolutely nothing when he comes on as a sub. Like on the ball, he loses it so many times. It's like, what are you doing? He has no awareness of his teammates. I remember the one time he overhits that ball so hard. It was an easy pass to Quadrado. He could have been 1-on-1 on the goal with the goalkeeper. He overhits that. Like all these small things are not helping him building a case for actually getting more minutes or staying at the club next season. It's not working out for him at all. Like when he starts, when he plays, yeah, he scores his odd goals here and there. But just in general, his general play performances, excuse me, they're very poor. Like coming from the bench, it's like he comes on and it's like, yeah, like you're coming on, but for what reason? What's the point? That's the vibe you get when he comes on, and that's a vibe he basically gives you when you watch him. So I gave him a 5. It's not good. Let's be honest, it's not good. And then we move on to Allegri. I give him a 5.5. We won. I don't expect anything to change until the end of the season at all. So it's just about getting those points. He did that. 5.5. I know people will be very harsh for him, or harsher than me, which is maybe fair, because it's kind of unwatchable, But we need to get the points, and he got the points, and that's all that counts. That's all that matters now. With 6 games left, that's all that matters. Nothing else. You just need to win. That's it. I don't care how at this point. I'm gonna say it's bad because it's bad, but like I don't expect us to play champagne football until the end of the season. It's just getting those points. That's it. So yeah, those are the player ratings. We talked about the game. I will read out some Allegri comments and then we'll wrap it up. Before I go into the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. There will be a daily video also from Justin today, and there will be a Sunday live with me and Davide, so stay tuned for that. So Allegri, he said, it's a good thing we won. I don't like losing. I prefer criticism when we win playing badly. In the end, no one remembers the game against Inter. They won. They're the only ones being talked about. And that's how it is. We're winners. Inter won. They're fighting for Scudetto. Obviously, they're going to talk about that. It's kind of simple. Nobody's going to say, we as fans, because we talk about it on the channel, we will say, yeah, it was good, blah, blah, blah. But like in the newspapers, they're not going to say, oh, Juve played a good game. And they're going to dwell on it for an entire week because it's pointless. Yeah, they played a good game, but it's for a 4th place spot. It's not competing, So I get why everybody's focused on Inter. It is what it is. It's normal. It's actually very normal. So I don't really understand why he was talking about it, but it is what it is. Then he said, let's be realistic. We lost a direct match against Inter. which would have allowed us to aspire to the Scudetto. Whoever would have won would have had a better chance of winning the Scudetto. So he was playing mind games before the Inter game, saying it's over, we're not in it. Maybe if we win, we get into, we see a bit of light, blah, 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 all those things. But apparently he and the club believed. So it was just in front of the media. It was basically all a show. At the end of the day, going off this quote, he believed that if we would have won against Inter, there would have been a shot for the Scudetto. And I kind of agree with him. If Milan would have dropped those points, it would have been 5. There's a chance. There's a good chance. Not easy, but there is a chance. Now there isn't, and that's why I felt this game will be the players will come out flat, a bit deflated, because it's a big blow. I think they believe that they actually could have won it still, but it is what it is. Then he said the backlash is strong. When you have been chasing for 16 games and you see the light, then the world collapses on you. It was a dangerous game today. The boys were good, clear-headed, and we conceded little to nothing. That's what I basically said. They believed it didn't come off against Inter, and that works deflated. It's kind of normal. But at the end of the day, if you're a professional, you need to flip that switch and you need to go again. It is what it is. Then he said we need to win the game. We need to win the games to consolidate. 4th place. We need to get to the last 2 games with an advantage over the chasing pack. That's obvious. That's what I said at the start of the video. I think you need to wrap it up before the last 2 games. Lazio at home, Fiorentina away. It doesn't depend on us. We need to win out until then, up to that point, and Roma, Atalanta need to drop points. So yeah. Then he said Dybala. He was asked about Dybala. He said it ends because there are stories that are born and at end. It's part of life. The club has been clear, and I'm very much in agreement. Paulo is working hard, and he had several injuries. He's still not what we know. He has proven to be a great professional. I think we knew that. He will be asked about it until the end of the season, but Dybala is gone. It is what it is. Nothing else to say about it. Then he said it was an important game for us. We suffered a psychological blow when we lost at home against Inter, thus seeing us as Scudetto slip away. Today was important for us to maintain our lead over our rivals. I think, again, same things. They believed, and that's why I said, again, I expected a flat performance because they believed. And it didn't go how they wanted to go, especially when we were the better team and we should have won that game against Inter. That's a big blow, And then at the end he was asked about Vlahovic, and he said he was asked does he need to improve, and he said Vlahovic is 22 years old and has been playing as a starter for a year and a half. At Juventus there's a different pressure. His growth will become total when he manages his energy. He has to improve his control. His first touch, he means. Sometimes the ball escapes him, but then he is stubborn. The goal came with stubbornness. The embrace with Dybala, the group of players has become important. Everyone wants to reach an important goal. Paulo has raised the quality with 2 or 3 interesting plays. Does Vlahovic need to improve? Yeah, some things, 100% sure. But the main issue is, team-wise, we struggle to get him the ball. And that's as simple as that. I think everybody can see it. I think he can sees it. I think he knows it. I think everybody knows it. Let's be real here. But yeah, this is a review show. Again, guys, I changed some settings on the mic, new cable, a new USB portal and stuff like that. Let me know in the comments if you still have issues. Please let me know the moments of the video, so I know it's a mic, so I need to replace the mic. It's that simple. But yeah, again, everyone, thanks for watching. Review show. Like the video, subscribe to the channel as always. Today, a daily and a Sunday live with me and Davide. And then we will see you today for the live.